Let's go. We are back. The UFC is back. The People's Pre-Fight Show is back for the first time in 2026. Welcome, everybody, to the UFC 324 edition of the People's Pre-Fight Show, getting you ready for the kickoff of the UFC on Paramount relationship. I'm pretty pumped up for this card, headlined by the interim lightweight championship bout between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett. I think we're in for a good one. We did lose a fight, another one. So now we're down to 11 total fights. I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about why we're down to 11 fights on the program. But if you are new to the People's Pre-Fight Show, it's very simple. Of course, shout out to the Twitchsters. They are here as well. And obviously the YouTubers are here. And we're just here to answer your questions, your thoughts, all of that fun stuff. Of course, the super chatters get to the front of the line. And let's get to it. Let's not mess around. We do have a super chat to kick things off. I want to get to one of the things right off the bat. Just want to make sure I have all the info. Caleb. What's up, Caleb? Thank you. Guaranteed finish bonus is awesome. No notes. Yes. Jed and I have been talking about this for years, and the UFC is finally doing the thing. It has come out. Shout out, first of all, to the Sports Business Journal for reporting this. Bonuses are doubling from $50,000 to $100,000 beginning tonight at UFC 324. The UFC plans to hand out at least $400,000 in bonuses per event, 2 performance of the night and a fight of the night handed out after each show. That is the plan. As you know, UFC sometimes likes to do 4 performance bonuses, so that's could be part of the factor as well. But there is also a brand new bonus where any fighter who finishes their opponent via knockout or submission but did not get selected for a performance of the night or takes part in the fight of the night will get an extra $25,000. So I'm not going to get upset about the finish bonuses because that should be happening. I kind of wish those were 50. But we're starting this thing off. The UFC is giving out some more money here, so can't complain all that much. My only note is I wish those were 50. The UFC can obviously afford it, but shout out to the UFC for doing this and making it happen. And this is something they probably should have had in place years ago, but I like it. I like it. The Last Stand. What happens if this card ends up sucking? I don't know. I'm not thinking about that. I actually think this is going to be a pretty fun card. We have 11 fights. Could there be a dud or 2 in there? Maybe. Ty Miller, Adam Fugit. I don't know what to expect from this fight. Ty is still relatively young, very green, very talented, very large for the welterweight division. And Adam's a pretty tough out. Can wrestle a little bit. So that one could go to the cards. Josh Hoke at Denzel Freeman. I mean, you would think on paper this isn't going to last very long, but if this goes past like a round and a half, then we could be in for Slog City. Alex Perez, Charles Johnson, I think is going to be very fun. Nikita Kralov, Modestas Bukauskas, probably not going to the cards. We know what Atiba Gauthier is about to do. Umar Figgy could end up being a tough one because I think Umar could just tackle Figgy a few times, and that fight could just go to the cards real quick. Arnold Allen, John Silva. I mean, come on. That's going to be super fun. Natty Ice, Rose Namajunas. I mean, that's probably going to the cards. And then Waldo and Derek ain't going to the cards. O'Malley Song. I kind of think it's going to be a little one-way traffic, but I could be wrong. And then I'm obviously fascinated in the main event to see how that all plays out. And I think this is going to be fun. I don't think this thing sucks. Now, I think the big question that I have is I know things are starting early. I know everything starts off an hour earlier than usual, but does that mean we're going to get a whole bunch of fillers with commercials? I don't know. I did not watch Zuffa Boxing last night. I decided to get some stuff done for tomorrow and get a good night's sleep because we have the watch party and all that. So that's going to take up a lot of energy, obviously. So I missed out on it. I heard there were some fun fights. So we'll see how it all goes. I hope it's just not like a ton of commercials and we're just sitting back waiting for things to happen, but we'll see. Okay, what else we got? I'm sure we're going to get the I'm sure there's lots of comments about I'm going to have to go back to the beginning here because I'm sure there's a lot of comments about the fight. Gee, what we talked about today is just no news. Fights falling like flies. Michael Johnson, Alex Hernandez off due to alleged betting line changes, aka Alex is injured. Fights may not start till 6 p.m. Eastern. I don't think they're gonna change it too much. Let me check and see if they have updated anything. We just might get a lot more filler. Let me see if they changed changed anything. Nope, still 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So 2 fight early prelims: Miller Fugit, Hoke Freeman. Those are the 2. So the broadcast is starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. But I don't know. They might go to the desk for quite some time. I don't really know. But let's talk about it. Alexander Hernandez versus Michael Johnson. No longer happening. We had seen some betting irregularities all week long, and people had a bunch of questions about it. We were wondering what was going to happen. If Johnson went out there and finished Alexander Hernandez, we're going to have a similar situation to the Isaac Delgarian thing. But the fight is off. And the UFC just announced that it's canceled. They didn't give a reason for it. So I don't know. I have reached out to the UFC. I've reached out to some folks in the know. I've reached out to some management teams to say any reason given why this isn't happening. I've not heard back from anybody yet. So there were some things that popped up today. BetOnline.ag, Dave Mason, I want to shout him out. Let me pull up the tweet real quick. This is at 1:28 p.m. Eastern time. Tweets out, quote, due to some irregular betting patterns, we will be keeping the limits lower than usual on tonight's Michael Johnson versus Alex Hernandez bout. Additionally, there will not be props on this fight. Important, this is a standard measure, not a judgment on the fight's integrity, possible injury, etc. However, to protect both the bettors and the house, we will err on the side of caution. If you choose to bet this fight, all bets have action. Thanks. So, and then I think the fight actually was off the books altogether, and then we found out the fight was canceled. So I don't know what to say. I mean, everything I say is all speculation here. And anything really anybody else is saying that I've seen, it's all speculation. Could it be because of the betting lines? Possibly. Could it be because of injury? Possibly. I don't know. I've reached out and tried to get answers, and I don't have any right now. So we can put out assumptions. We can speculate all we want. And I think the betting lines might have something to do with it. Like if I had to take a guess, I do not know this for sure, but it's all I'll say is, and I know Ariel Helwani tweeted this earlier, and I completely agree. I'm glad that they pulled it, that we can sort of speculate why the fight is canceled as opposed to speculate why the fight went the way that it did. Because although for us as a website, that would obviously be a big talking point and something that would fill the next few days for us, no doubt about it, for content, articles, etc. But we have not heard from anybody as to why this fight was canceled officially. So, but yeah, now we're down to 11 fights. I really like that fight too. I think combined, both guys were on a 7, like total, it was a 7-fight win streak for these guys. So yeah, kind of a bummer. And yeah, we'll see if anything comes from this. I'm sure Dana will be asked about it tonight at the post-fight press conference. And we'll go from there. People faint at weddings. That was legitimately a line that came out yesterday. So hashtag Dana cares. Yeah, Dana going out and saying, how dare you essentially say that I'm checked out of the UFC. Come on now. He's been checked out for years, and it's all right. I mean, like I said, he's very important when it comes to the business and locking down sponsorships and things of that nature. Like, you think if Dana White wasn't around, that the world's most famous Apex would now be called the world's most famous Meta Apex? No, absolutely not. So let's talk about this other story. Quote, we offered Justin more money. He didn't respond. Laugh my ass off. Dana is so full of that. What fighter doesn't respond to getting paid more money? I don't know what's going on. Shout out to my guy, Jose Youngs. Try to ask Justin Gaethje to sort of advance the story. Gaethje was just had none of it. Gaethje didn't want to be really asked about anything other than fights after the media day on Wednesday. So it was just tough to hear Gaethje say that. And then the response was, hey, we offered him more money. He just didn't respond to us. Like, that is such a weird thing to say. But I would love to hear from Ali Abdelaziz about this. Like, normally I don't want to hear his interviews at all because I'd rather hear from his fighters. I would rather hear from Kayla Harrison, but at least, Ali offered up some things. But this would be a great time to have an Ali Abdelaziz interview to ask him about this and see what he had to say about it. Now, I don't know if he would offer much because it's Dana saying it, but pretty crazy. All right, let's go down here. Island Realtor, man, I'm not going to lie. I'm not hating on the Paramount Plus deal. You can go back and watch recent title fights like their episodes of TV shows. Pretty convenient. They must have paid the UFC a pretty penny. They did. $7.7 billion over the next 7 years. So, is Alex Perez fighting for his job today, considering he missed weight and lost 5 of 6, plus Jason House is at it again with Alex Perez? I don't know what that last part means, but I don't know. Maybe? I don't know. I talk about this all the time. You kind of need the Alex Perez's of the world. Like, he's fighting more consistently now. I know there was a stretch where, like, he wasn't fighting at all, and, like, all of his fights were getting pulled the day of, the week of, 2 weeks before. But at least he fought three times in 2024. He did fight only once in 2025. He's supposed to fight Steve Erceg. Ended up fighting Asu Amabayev and then this fight. But it's like, you kind of need him. There's not a ton of flyweights on the roster. He's a guy who's fought for a belt. He does have a ranking next to his name. And it's kind of like having and I mean this with all due respect, it's like having the Josh Emmets and the Dan Iges and all that. Like, you want to test some of these guys to see what they have. And Charles Johnson is a guy who could be like a star for them. He's got a great personality. He fights a ton. He's exciting to watch. You kind of need guys like Alex Perez to throw Charles Johnson to see what he's got, to see if he could be a top 10, top 5 kind of a guy. So I don't think Alex Perez is breaking the bank financially for the UFC. I don't think he's making like $500,000 a fight. I know he fought for a belt, so he's probably getting 6 figures per fight, but I don't know, maybe. I guess I wouldn't be surprised either way is what I'll say. Will the extra weight give Figgy a better shot? Yes, Figgy missed weight yesterday as well. No, it won't. Like, for Figgy to win this fight, he has to knock out Umar. He has to knock him out. If he doesn't knock him out, he's not going to win. He's got to absolutely clean his clock and do it very, very quickly. So is it out of the realm of possibility? No, because we've seen Figgy drop some pretty tough dudes up at bantamweight. I mean, he dropped Chito Vera. No one drops Chito Vera. So could he land a big shot? I mean, we've seen Umar cracked in some fights. So I'm not going to completely rule it out, but if he doesn't, we're going to know exactly what this fight is going to look like 3 minutes in. But I think Umar's just going to tackle him a few times. And maybe we get a finish out of Umar. I don't know. But I think it's going to be like a 30-27, 30-26 type situation. Umar gets the win and goes on and fights somebody else. Who do you think is the A side between Justin and Paddy? I mean, it's got to be Paddy. I guess it depends on who you talk to. But I will say, I know we talk about cards and events that pass the quote-unquote mom test all the time. This one is passing it. I'm getting messages from people today that I don't really talk to that much unless there's a big, big event. And people are reaching out about, like, the bets that they're making and being excited for the card and all that stuff. And that's not something that happens that often with fight cards like this. So this is getting some buzz. This is getting some attention from the folks. So, but I think Paddy is probably the A side. He's the one who drums up the most attention. I think Gaethje's done a pretty good job this week, dropping some really cold lines. But wait, is this the old broadcast starting here? All right, yeah, they're probably gonna do some desk stuff. All right, here we go. All right, now the screen looks better. Did you find the post-fight interview with Callum Walsh as bad as I did due to Max Kellerman? Like I said, I did not watch Zuffa Boxing. I followed along on Twitter. People were ripping Max Kellerman. It's what a fall from grace for Max. But at the end of the day, you want to get money, help the fam out. But Max has gone full bootlicker when it comes to all of this. And he ain't denying it. And I think what I saw on Twitter, and you guys can correct me in the comments, that he kept comparing Callum Walsh to like a young Roy Jones Jr. And when I saw those tweets, I had to keep scrolling to make sure I wasn't reading that bad. And then multiple people were tweeting it. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? That's pretty wild. Main card fight start at what time? 9 p.m. Eastern, which is awesome. Don't know if you've talked about it, but the finish bonus seems like a huge deal. It is a big deal. It's good. It's very, very good. I wish it was a little bit more. But again, this is damn good. This is damn good. In hindsight, did Francis make a bad decision leaving the UFC? He could have just re-signed and kept it moving like everyone else. No, because Francis made a lot more money outside of the UFC. He got 2 massive boxing matches against Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, made a boatload of money, just signing with PFL, made a boatload of money to absolutely destroy Renan Ferreira. And he can, I guess, look himself in the mirror. Now, maybe there's parts of this in hindsight where there's some regret when it comes to maybe the overall legacy of Francis Ngannou, but due to the competition, he didn't get the John Jones fight. You know, and he's got maybe one more fight left in his deal with PFL. They're under his new regime, so maybe it'll be like their focus to keep him around and do something with him. I don't know. There you go. Whoever said 6 p.m. Eastern start time, you were right. 56 minutes, 53 seconds. And we are at the desk with Kate Scott, Dominic Cruz, Chris Weidman, and Michael Bisping. How about that? Will Figgy retire if he loses? I don't think so. I do think Justin Gaethje probably does if he loses. Does the winner of Natty Ice and Rose get a title shot with a simple decision win, or do they have to make a big statement? If Rose wins any way, shape, or form, she's getting a title shot. I'm convinced of this. Unless it is like a stone cold robbery and Dana goes to the press conference and says Natty Ice got screwed. I don't know who the F are judging these fights. Yada, yada, yada. Maybe that'll put a ding into this. But the second Rose told us that she was probably moving to 125, this is the fight the UFC has wanted, to do Rose versus Valentina. So they are going to make that fight immediately if Rose wins, outside of a robbery decision. Natty Ice, if she goes out and just head kick KOs Rose Namajunas, I don't give a shit what happens in this division over the next few months. She's getting it. If Natty goes out there and just wins like a typical Natty Ice 29-28 decision, I think it's not etched in stone. Maybe Valentina's there and they do a face-off either way. I don't know. But my hunch, and I don't have any inside information into this, but my thought would be, unless like it's a fight the UFC wants for like Miami in April, or they want to do it like before the White House or something, and it's like we have to have Valentina Shevchenko fight before the White House. Maybe Natty sneaks in there. But If Macy Barber goes in there and just obliterates Alexa Grasso, beats the soul out of her, and has the performance of a lifetime, the UFC loves Macy Barber. They absolutely love her, and they will probably push her into a title fight first. That is what my gut is telling me, but it would be absolutely egregious for that to happen. Do you think Justin gets a title shot at the White House versus Ilya if he wins tonight? I don't know. I do not know. Not really sure. Will this be Derek Lewis's last fight if he loses? No friggin' way. Absolutely not. Derek is going to keep fighting. Derek's fighting at the White House whether he wins tonight or loses. He's fighting at the White House. It's going to happen. So, it will definitely not be Derek Lewis's last fight. Do you think the UFC is trying to keep Umar from getting the belt by putting him on the prelims and putting Sean O'Malley on the main card? No. Umar's out of the conversation no matter what. He's just not there right now. It's just what it is. He got a shot. Everyone thought he was going to win. He fought. If you're going to fight Merab, the version of Merab who fought Umar that night was the version you would want to fight. And Merab beat him. So, look, Umar's going to win the belt. He's going to get there. But I don't think one has to do with the other here. I think Sean O'Malley, if he goes out there and beats Song Yadong convincingly, there is an absolute world. And I know Petr Yan did an interview saying, no, nothing that happens at UFC 324 will decide my next title fight. They promised Merab the shot, yada, yada, yada. I don't think that's true at all. I think the UFC... And if you're Petr Yan, you think if Sean O'Malley goes out there and just bolts Song Yadong, as much as Petr wants that fight back to prove that he deserved to win that one, you don't think he would take that fight at the White House? Of course he would take it. Of course he would take it. And Merab could still fight the winner. It's fine. Are you keeping Fight Pass? Yes. I am keeping it. There are events I like to watch on there. I know Combat FC's on there, so I like to watch those events. Sometimes Karate Combat's on there, whatever's left of them. There's like other events that I like. Tough Enough's on there. I think Pettis' shows are on there. I think Faber's shows are on there. So give us Brian Campbell. Agreed. It was awesome seeing Brian Campbell out there like doing interviews, representing CBS. That was awesome. Shout out to Brian. I love that guy. Any update on Gamrot versus Torres? I'm just guessing that's the next fight the UFC would book. Not that I've heard. Any clues for what will be the main event for UFC London? Movsar versus Lerone? Maybe. I think that fight makes all the sense in the world. I read somewhere last night that Paddy won by decision. O'Malley beat Song, but I'm finding out today the fight hasn't happened yet. Yeah, not good. Not good. What's next for WCA if he has an impressive win? Lewis has been TKO'd quickly before. Maybe him and Gon for an interim belt. I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't know. I think Alex Pereira has a lot to say about this conversation too. So I think if Derek Lewis wins, they will probably throw him in some sort of interim title fight because everyone loves Derek Lewis. And it'd just be a cool story to see he's going to be 41 in a couple of weeks. A 41-year-old that everybody likes getting a shot at the belt again. Maybe they do him and Pereira. Like, who the hell knows? Derek's just fun. Like, he's just a fun addition to everything, which is why I always people give me shit for this, and that's fine. But like I said after Derek beat Talisha Teixeira, like they should have just given Derek Lewis the title shot. I know they ended up giving it to Gane, but like at the time, like no one was clamoring for Cyril Gane to get a title fight. He beat Volkov, but it was super controversial. Even Dana White thought Volkov won that fight. Like, let's just have some fun. The whole thing was just getting Tom out there fighting, and let's just do fun stuff with him. And Tom probably would have obliterated Derek Lewis, but you never know. It's a win-win for the UFC. Either Tom like is out there fighting and gets a quick finish. We haven't seen him in a year and a half, and he gets to do it against Derek Lewis, who's going to build the shit out of that fight. Or Derek Lewis like pulls off this incredible upset and becomes the champion. It was a win-win, which is why I wanted that. And I'm still going to keep pushing for Derek to get it. If Derek wins tonight, he should absolutely be fighting for some sort of title. 1,000%. Oh, I saw some super chats. My bad. Starting my own climb today. Shout out Playground. Sugar by decision. Sugar by decision is the climb bet. Wow. That's I mean, I think that's how Sean wins, but what is sugar by decision? Plus 110. Wow, we're climbing with a plus number. Good for you. So basically, like the climb is, at least by Jed's definition, is the bet should be like minus 500 in or around minus 500, and just like string 20 or 30 of those together. I think it's 30, and you get like somewhere in the 5 figures, like a pretty decent number. But man, plus 110, go for it. Shout out Alexander. Is Whitaker, Usman, and Izzy now all gatekeepers? Are we talking Kamaru Usman? Because Kamaru Usman might be fighting for a title next, and it's going to make me very mad. So I never loved the word gatekeepers, but I get why people say it. That's just not. I mean, Izzy's just kind of there. I guess Whitaker's sort of been there for a while. Not as a gatekeeper, but like the ultimate litmus test. Like, all right, if you beat Robert Whitaker, like you're poised for big things, and we're going to put you in a really big spot. I mean, Nasruddin Imavov just dusted Izzy and still hasn't gotten a title shot yet. So I don't know what Whitaker's going to do. Yeah, but Whitaker is definitely in that, I guess if you want to call it a gatekeeper position, but I would say Izzy and Whitaker are kind of in the same spot right now. Like both are so far out of the title picture, but both will be kind of put in positions to fight up and coming talent moving forward. And Kamaru, I don't know, man. Like, I don't need to get on the Kamaru soapbox again, but I would like to see Kamaru fight any one of these other contenders right now. He could fight Sean Brady. I don't care. Like, I know, and Brady's coming off of a loss, but like, fight Shavkat. That's the one I really want to see. I want to see Usman versus Shavkat. They're not giving Shavkat the title shot. That's the one. Usman versus Gary, Usman versus Morales, Usman versus Pratis. Any of those, if he beats either one of those guys, I will never complain about Usman getting a title shot. But beating Joaquin Buckley and then seeing what the rest of this division has done, all the guys that I mentioned, the names that they've had, the performances that they had, the wins that they had, to say that Kamaru Usman deserves a title shot over any of those people is ridiculous. But so Usman is probably not a gatekeeper at this point because he might get a title shot. Killers. I bet my house on Paddy and Derek Lewis. Bing rips indeed. More super chats. Nary, thank you. Just throwing it out there. If you have a comment, throw it in there. CT Kook. Buying Mike a coffee for bringing back the old intro. Got me super hyped. Yeah, I played that for my kid today, and he laughed his ass off. I had a good time with that one. What else we got? Oh, yeah. How's the timing of Bisping talking about weight cutting on the weigh-in show, and then in the background we have the fall? Yeah, that was friggin' crazy. I thought that was fake at first. Any idea who are the PFL board of directors members? Let me see. I can probably give you that information. Where is it? Let's go down. Let's see. I had it. Oh, there we go. There it is. Let's see. As part of the transaction, certain affiliates of Knighthead Capital Management and 885 Capital have expanded their ownership stakes, reinforcing long-term support. Knighthead brings deep expertise in investing. PFL is entering an exciting stage of his evolution. What else does it say? PFL has established a new 9-member board of directors who will oversee the organization's strategic direction. Well, John Martin is one of them. PFL has identified 2026 as a defining year for the organization, driven by expanded global operations. A new executive leadership team led by CEO John Martin alongside Lenny Daniels and Jason Oberlander, and an evolved product offering designed to elevate competition and fan engagement. So I think those 3 names are going to be a part of it. I don't know who the rest of them are, but there will be 9 people, and I think those 3 are part of it. Any chance winner of Lewis Waldo welcomes Rico Verhoeven to the UFC? No. Derek Lewis said that Rico was... They offered him Rico, and he said yes, and it didn't happen, so... Did Dana or UFC say anything about bonuses for the fighter? Yeah, so we talked about this earlier. The fight night bonuses are doubled now. The 4 bonuses are $100,000 each, and now there's a finish bonus, $25,000 to anyone who gets a finish that doesn't get a bonus. So I think that's great. Another super chat. CG Cook, another coffee if you bring back the victory horns for the post show. Oh. I mean, okay. I hope I get the coffee anyways. If I have it, I will use it. Following Mike's reasoning, I say let's give Tai Tuivasa a title shot if he wins his next bout. Tai may not be great, but he is fun, plus has a win over Lewis. Derek Lewis at least is on a 2-fight win streak. He's on a 2-fight win streak. Back-to-back main events, both against ranked opponents. And I know that's not saying much when it comes to heavyweight, but he was like, he had an absolute case after beating Talison Teixeira. I thought he had a better case than Cyril Gahn did at the time. Derek isn't lost 6 in a row and didn't take 2 years off. Do you think the co-main being 3 rounds benefits Sean O'Malley? I don't know. I mean, Sean looked pretty damn good in the Cheeto Vera fight. I know it's apples and oranges comparing Song Yadong Cheeto Vera, especially in the year of our Lord 2026, but yeah. Mike, are the goalposts moved when it comes to Paddy, or is it just the truth that Justin and Chandler are out of their prime? Yeah, well, I think there's truth to everything that you just said there. The goalposts have been moved for Paddy. And look, you know me, ladies and gentlemen. I say some things. Sometimes my takes are correct. Sometimes I'm spot on about things. Sometimes I'll be super stubborn when it comes to things that I say. But I will say this, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I was wrong about Paddy Pimblett. I didn't think Paddy Pimblett would be a top 15 guy. I certainly didn't think he'd be a top 10 guy. I never saw a world where Paddy was fighting for a title. I just didn't see it because it's lightweight. And it's no disrespect to Paddy. It was just he's in a division where there are a lot of like really good fighters, and matchmaking him to rise up the ranks was going to be very difficult. Now, luckily for the UFC, it worked out great. Tony Ferguson lost to everybody. Bobby Green, it was like perfect matchmaking, or King Green, excuse me. And then throwing him in there with Michael Chandler when Chandler's clearly on the back nine is just like, you know, this is good. And this fight is very winnable for Paddy. It's very winnable. But there's a reason why the UFC did not book Paddy against Benoit Saint-Denis on the rise. You know what I mean? There's a reason why he wasn't fighting Joel Alvarez when Joel Alvarez was clobbering people at 155 before he moved up. There's a reason why they didn't match him up against Arman Tsarukyan or even Ilya at the time when Ilya was a featherweight but still had a lightweight fight. There's a reason why those fights weren't made. This is classic matchmaking to get the result you want. Look at what they did with Alex Pereira. They did the exact same thing with Alex Pereira, but Alex was just more speed run. And I think the Paddy thing is, Paddy has become a lot more likable as well. Like, I know he plays a lot of the greatest hits where, you know, moving the goalposts. And I actually think he should play that hit. He should keep playing the, well, no matter what happens, they're just going to make excuses and all that. He should play that because he knows there's probably a little bit of truth to that deep down. So I don't think they're going to put Paddy in there with Arman Tsarukyan next. They want him as champion. It's not a bad thing. Paddy is a star. They go to the UK every year. Like, bring in the champion. They could do numbered events in the UK now and sell a lot of tickets with Paddy as a champion. So, but Paddy is way better than I thought he would, that I thought he was. He is getting better with each fight. The Jared Gordon fight did not do him any favors. It really didn't, because I still to this day thought he clearly lost that fight. So, but he won, and that's that. But he is absolutely getting better. No doubt about it. I cannot take that away from him. There's a good chance he wins this fight tonight. Am I betting on Paddy to win tonight? No, I am not. I'll run down my bets in a little bit. I want to see someone interview me. I've done some. If you have a podcast and you want me to come on, I'll come on. I don't ever say no to that stuff unless like I just don't have, unless it's like the time frame just does not match up. Like, shout out to Submission Radio. Shout out to Dennis. I love going on Sub Radio. Love it. It's one of my favorite things, one of my favorite shows to go on. But he wants to do Submission Radio the day after or whatever it's called, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, in the middle of the Patriots playing in the AFC Championship game. Zero chance that happens. And that's why it's not happening. But any other time, I am down for that. Will fighters still beg for bonuses after a win? Yeah, they still will. Because it's $100,000. It's $75,000 more. They might actually ask for it. They might actually ask for it more. Honestly. Oh, sorry, Alexander. Another one. Adding to the gatekeepers, Khalil Lewis Figgy. Figgy, kind of. I mean, they tried with Montel Jackson. It didn't work out. Khalil, I kind of want to see who they book Khalil in there with next. Because, I mean, just look at the run Khalil's been on. Alex Pereira, Jamal Hill, Yuri Prochazka. We'll see who they... Like, if Modestas Bukauskas wins and then they do Modestas versus Khalil, then maybe we could start having that conversation. So I'll say no. And Lewis... I don't know. I think they like Derek a little too much. Like, they keep putting him in big spots, so... Maybe to some degree. I think you can make a case for it. Mike, do you think Dana doesn't answer questions on presser because he reserves the info for certain podcasts he has to do, like exclusives and stuff? Yeah, probably. But see, like, look, I don't begrudge Dana for doing this. He's clearly had an issue with the MMA media for a long time. I think a lot of that is ridiculous. And it's just silly how Dana forgets how important the MMA media was when they were struggling. When they were struggling, the MMA media kept that business freaking alive. Like, they kept them going. I don't know. It's just weird. It seems to be like mostly Ariel and stuff of that nature, and Dana likes to sort of combine everybody into one thing. But, I mean, there's a reason he does Pat McAfee's show. Like, Pat ain't going to ask him any hard questions. And if he does, there's no doubt about it that Dana is well aware of these questions ahead of time. Like, I'd be shocked if Dana wasn't aware of most of the things Pat was going to ask. So, but look, I'll give Dana credit. Dana was doing interviews with a lot of people. He was all over the place. So that's good. It's good that he's doing that. But yeah, I mean, I always say, like, when it comes to like the press conferences and stuff, like for like the Justin Gaethje thing, like after, like literally Dana had said hours prior to that on McAfee's show that they were going to pay Justin Gaethje more money, but he just chose not to respond. Like, that deserves a question at the press conference, right? Like, I think that deserves a question. Now, Justin can shut it down, but I think that deserves a question. But if you're going to talk about a UFC press conference and bring up, like, the antitrust lawsuit, I mean, you can do it, but, like, it just doesn't seem like the time. Now, at the post-fight press conference, when it's just Dana sitting there by himself and you could fire questions away at him, then yes, I think you can ask. I think it's better in that position to ask the tougher questions. You can ask more of the journalistic questions. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just how I look at it. That's just how I look at it, because like, you're just not going to get the answer you want from Dana when there's 8 other fighters on the stage and they're trying to get people to watch an event. You're just not going to. So, it's a baller climb until I fall to my doom. I like it. Paramount subscription is a good deal. You think the affordability will increase the viewership? 1,000%. 1,000%. Like I said, this is a mom test card. I didn't think it would be, but it is. It's absolutely a mom test card. I'm getting hit up by people I haven't talked to in years about this card. So, Paddy ain't ducking no one. I didn't say Paddy was ducking anybody. I'm saying, look, if the UFC offered Paddy any of the names that I mentioned, then he would have probably said yes to those fights. But the UFC is not, they're viewing this in a different way. They're thinking to themselves, how do we position this guy who could be a star for us to have the most amount of success he can? And doing so, having him fight Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler and King Green is better than fighting Joel Alvarez, Benoit Saint-Denis, Mateusz Gamrot, etc. Right? Like, that's how you position him. And I'm not saying he ducked anything. So, the Broncos are going to spank the Patriots. See, here's why. This is why tomorrow is so fun to me. For 2 reasons. One, if that indeed happens, I don't even care. I don't care. The fact that they are playing in an AFC Championship game, the way I expected this season to go, is unreal to me. It's unbelievable to me that they are in this position. I was like, this would be an A++ year for the New England Patriots if they win 9 games. If they went 9-8 and missed the playoffs by a game or 2, I would have been so pumped about that and just looking forward to next season. I would have been like, this is a great jumping off point. Shout out to Mike Vrabel for doing the thing, getting them to more than double their win total of the last 2 seasons. That would have been fantastic to me. It would have meant Drake Bay had a pretty darn good year and was only going to get better. But if they go out there and beat Denver, the amount of belly aching on social media is just going to be hilarious to me. It's going to be so funny. It really is. So I think the Patriots are going to win. I do. Denver's solid. People think like Jarrett Stidham is like a piece of shit quarterback. He's not. He's fine. Like, Jarrett Stidham goes out there and has like a solid Jarrett Stidham game. Like, they could beat the Patriots. They could beat them. This is not the end of the world. It's not Phillip Rivers starting against the Patriots tomorrow. All right? Jarrett Stidham, there are way worse options. But I think the Patriots defense is super good. And I don't really care who the quarterback is, if we're being honest. Outside of the second game against Buffalo, where their defense was an absolute disaster, and they blew that game when they were beating the soul out of the Bills in the first half, that was the one time I was like, damn, that was rough. But they have bounced back at a great way. The Patriots defense is really good. I think the Patriots are going to win. I think the Patriots are going to get the victory. And Seattle fans can get excited. Either way, it'll be a rematch. And I mean, I think the storyline wise, right? Drake May versus Matthew Stafford. I mean, kind of seems like a good story right there. But Seattle's damn good too. I don't think honestly, I think the Patriots probably lose to either of those teams, but you never know. Do we get a fight announcement tonight? Also, what about Hall of Fame inductee? Do we get a Hall of Fame inductee? Maybe. I mean, you should probably throw Dustin Poirier in there, like, right away. That's what I would do. Fight announcement? I don't know. Maybe we get the main event for London. We should probably, I mean, if we don't get the main event for London tonight, I don't know what's going on. So maybe they announce Lerone versus Movzar. What do we think of Chris Weidman at the desk? What do you guys think? I can't really hear it, so. Who is Chase Hooper fighting? He is fighting Lance Gibson Jr. at UFC Seattle. I found out about that fight a few days ago before it was announced, but I couldn't get it fully confirmed. The new Skeletor looks amazing. Yes, Masters of the Universe. What's up? Alexander, my man, appreciate you. Do we get any more? Sometimes, like, the super chats pop right up and they're easy to know that they're up there. And then other times I have to, like, search for them. Mike McCarthy is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Good luck to them. Do you think Bo Nix being injured takes a little wind out of the sails of the game? That would have been an awesome story with two young quarterbacks. Listen, obviously, as someone who would like to see the Patriots like get the best efforts of everybody, like just as a sports fan, you want to see the best play the best. Yeah, it's a bummer. I would like to have seen that matchup, but that's out of the Patriots' control. Like, to sit there, like, the amount of complaining that I've seen since Sunday is truly something wild. Like, to see journalists sit there and say, like, oh, if the Texans beat the Patriots, like, the Bills win their game, oh, that's a hard matchup because the Texans defense. Houston's for real. Don't sleep on them. And then when the Patriots beat them, it's like, oh, well, they sucked anyways. They were never really that good. Like, come on. You can't be both things. Chris is stumbling a lot. Chris is great on the weigh-in show. Yeah, a little jitters, you know? Little jitters. Exume, as a Canadian fan who buys every pay-per-view for 10 years, I feel betrayed and left behind not getting the free pay-per-view on Paramount. Well, hopefully that changes for you guys, like after this Sportsnet deal expires. Mike, you got to realize every single thing isn't a shot at your teams. I'm a Boston sports fan, so it's hard to not think it is. How much time till the fights? 25 minutes. I'm going to get off here in like 5 minutes, probably. Bisping insufferable to listen to. I think Bisping is much better suited at this desk than commentary, for sure. For sure. Still paying in Australia also. I hope that changes too. But honestly, like, this is like the first time that the US audience is like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is actually good for us. We're paying, it's just so expensive to be a UFC fan. It really was. So this is great. If Usman or Magomedov would be in the UFC today, who would you match him up with? That is a really interesting question. I think I have the answer, but let me just look at the rankings real quick. I would want to see him fight Mateusz Gamrot. That would be like a good opening fight. I could see them doing Beneil Dariush. I could see them doing Renato Moicano. So, yeah, it'd be somebody like that, I think. As a Raiders fan, I'll never get over the tuck rule. Yeah, I was at that game. And, yeah, I was pretty happy that day. It was funny because I was always like, oh, come on. Absolutely, that was the right call. And then I was watching something. I don't remember what it was. It was I know ESPN did a 30 for 30 on it with Brady and Charles Woodson, and I thought it was pretty fantastic. But years before that, Charles Woodson was breaking down a Patriots Super Bowl or some playoff game like a couple of years later, and he broke down the tuck rule and like what happened, and he showed like a specific angle of like the coverage downfield and like where he was. It was just like angled perfectly, where I came to the conclusion, I was like, oh shit, we got away with one for sure. We got away with it. Oh well, that's tough though. It really is. Paramount Plus app better than the ESPN Plus app. No buffering. So far, so good for me too. Yeah, I was happy to ESPN offered me like a super good deal to like keep ESPN Plus for like a few more months, and I was like, no. I kept it for like a couple weeks because there were a few Bruins games I wanted to watch, and they were playing on ESPN Plus. But then I was just like, nope, I'm done here. I was hoping there'd be new commentary with CBS. Unfortunate to see Bisping, DC, and Rogan getting worse with time, too. I wish they could call and explain the action rather than tell stories. This is the TKO era, my friends. They are a storytelling entity. But, yeah, DC and Rogan aren't going anywhere. But, I don't know. I would like to see, I think Paul Felder's fantastic. I'd like to see him get some more reps. I think Lorosenko's very good. We saw Michael Chiesa get a couple of reps in last year doing a Road to UFC card. He did some Contender Series stuff. So we might mix in some new people. But yeah, if you think Rogan and DC are going anywhere, you crazy. Thank you, Steve-O. Curious on what your take was on the Broncos-Bills interception late game. I thought it was a catch, honestly. I thought Buffalo got hosed. But I also think they didn't deserve to win that game. So I think like, I don't know. It's like, to me, it was like a weird split decision in a fight where it's like really close, but like you feel kind of confident somebody won. And then it was like 29-28. 30-27 for this person, and then 29-28 for the winner. And you're like, okay, it was a close fight, but like that second judge was kind of ridiculous, but the right fighter won. That's kind of how I felt. It was a shitty call. Like I felt bad. I even tweeted out, I was like, man, Even though the Bills fans are pretty ruthless. I was like, man, being a Bills fan is pretty rough. Patriots have had the easiest path since the Super Bowl was created. That's absolutely not true. It's absolutely not true. Go back and look at the year the Chicago Bears won the Super Bowl or made it to the Super Bowl and got beat by the Colts. That was a much easier path. And by the way, Drake May will do something that like no one has ever done. It's only been done like once before in like the history of the Super Bowl era, in the NFL playoff era. If Drake May and the Patriots beat the Broncos tomorrow, top 5 defenses every single game, or top 3 defenses. It was like the 3 best defenses, and he beat all 3 of them. So stop it. By the way, they went on the road and beat the Bills' ass. That is a terrific win. You cannot say that it's all been easy. It was an easy path. So what? It's not like the Patriots like paid Roger Goodell to make the schedule for them. It's my whole thing is like, you can't sit there and be like, as a pundit of the NFL and say, oh, the Houston Texans are great defensively. This could be a bad matchup for the Bills if the Bills get there and have to play them. I'm kind of nervous about that. And then the Patriots go in there and beat them. It's like, they suck. That's my issue. Just keep the same energy. That's all. And like I said, if the Patriots lose 65-0 tomorrow, I'm totally okay with it. Everything that's happening now is cherry on top. Like I said, I thought they'd win 9 games and I would have been throwing a party. I'd have been throwing a party if they went 9-7. Hell, they went 9-8. If they went 8-9, I would have been happy. And now they have a chance to make the freaking Super Bowl. All right, I'm going to get out of here in a moment. Let me run down my picks real quick for all of you. I'll let you know what my bets are as well. Watch party starting in an hour and 18 minutes, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going super early for the watch party. We're going for the entire middle prelims and the entire main card. Jed will be here. It'll be great. Let me just pull up my picks. Share it with the peeps. Real quick. Bam. All right, we'll go to the last 7 fights, or last 9 fights. That's what we'll do. Let me pull up everything I need here. Ba-boom. Where am I looking? Okay, here we go. So everything's going to start for us with the catchweight bout between Charles Johnson and Alex Perez. According to FanDuel, Charles Johnson, the -168 favorite. Comeback on Alex Perez, +142. The pick is Charles Johnson. The pick is a finish in round 3. I think it's a fight that looks kind of similar to the Yasiel Mabaya fight. I think Perez has a little early success. Maybe wins the first round. Maybe he wins the second round. But I think Charles Johnson does what Charles Johnson does. Comes back, gets stronger as the fight goes, and I think he finishes Alex Perez in round 3. I have a bet on Charles Johnson. I kind of wish I waited. I would have got better value, but I got him at -192, and then I have a bet Charles Johnson wins in round 3 at +1,000. Then we go to the light heavyweight division. We have Nikita Krylov, the underdog, +114, taking on Modestas Bukauskas, -134. I got Modestas Bukauskas. Knockout in round 2. I think Krylov's just done. I think he's just done at this point. So, fun fighter. I do think this fight's going to be fun. He might even hurt Modestas at some point. But in the end, I think Modestas gets him out of there. So I have a straight up bet on Modestas. I got him at -144. Then we go to Ateba Gauthier, the -1,000 favorite, taking on Andre Pulaya, +660. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we all know where this is going. One of the stars of Team Heck in the fantasy team. Gaethje is getting a first-round knockout. I have missed part of a parlay, along with Josh Hokit straight up, and Umar Figi going over 1.5 at plus 122. That's the only bet I have on Umar Figi as well, is just part of the parlay. Because Umar is such a ridiculous favorite, it doesn't make any sense. Minus 1,500 right now against Davis and Figueiredo, and I think Umar is going to win pretty easily, pretty convincingly. Let's go to the main card. It kicks off in the featherweight division. We have John Silva, pretty sizable favorite, minus 225 to come back on the returning Arnold Allen. Is plus 188. I actually have a bet on Arnold Allen here. It is not a straight up bet. I have Arnold Allen with the point spread, plus 3.5. I got it at plus 110. I think Arnold Allen can win a round here. There are a lot of people who feel like Arnold Allen is a very good underdog selection because he's very tough to finish. He's a very tough individual, and he's a lot more talented and fun than people Dana White give him credit for. But in the end, I do think John Silva gets the victory. I think he probably gets a decision, so I'll go with that. Then we go to a big one in the women's flyweight division, perhaps a title eliminator. We have Natty Ice, Natalia Silva, big favorite, minus 335. The comeback on Rose Namajunas, plus 270. Again, betting a point spread on the underdog. Rose Namajunas, plus 3.5, got her at minus 115. I do think Rose Namajunas will win a round. I think this has 29-28 written all over it. But I think Natalia Silva wins by decision, but I am backing Rose Namajunas to win one round and got a little value there. Then we go to the heavyweights. We have Waldo Cortez Acosta, part of the fantasy squad, the minus 335 favorite, the comeback on Derek Lewis, plus 270. This is more of a hedge bet for me because either way, I'm happy. I have a bet on Derek Lewis by knockout at plus 380. That's just kind of a sprinkle bet, but the big bet I have on this fight is the fight goes under 1.5 at plus 114. Co-main event, we have Sugar Sean O'Malley taking on Song Yadong. Sean O'Malley, minus 215 favorite to come back on Song Yadong, plus 180. I have another point spread bet here. This one is on Sean O'Malley as the favorite, minus 3.5 points at plus 110. I think he's going to beat Song Yadong convincingly. So I think he's going to cover that spread, and getting plus money on Sean O'Malley in a situation like this, I'm going to go for it. And then the main event of the evening for the interim UFC lightweight title, we have Paddy Pimblett, the minus 240 favorite, the comeback on Justin Gaethje, plus 198. My money is on Justin Gaethje, plus 190, taking a dog shot on him. I do think Paddy probably wins this fight, but this is far and away the toughest fight of Paddy Pimblett's career. I think Paddy has all the tools to win, but I'm taking a shot. This is like literally Justin Gaethje's last chance. So let's take a shot, see what happens. Either way, I think it's going to be a really fun fight. I think it's going to be fascinating. There's no way that fight is boring or stinky in any way. So what I'm really rooting for is that we all have fun. We all have fun with the return of the UFC. We all have fun with no longer having to watch that terrible ESPN Plus service. The fact that all of us, at least in the United States, don't have to pay $85 for pay-per-views anymore, or premium numbered events, whatever we're friggin' calling them. And it's going to be fun. I think we're all going to have a good time. We're starting the watch party early. We'll have a post-fight show. AK and I will be back tomorrow. We'll do on to the next one. It'll be just terrifically good fun. So thank you all so much. We'll see you in about an hour and 10 minutes right here on the same channel. Different link, same channel. We can all watch the fights together. We'll react. We'll have a damn good time. And it's just going to be a good night. Stick with us, MMAfighting.com. It's a terrific website. For me, I am me. We'll see you later. Enjoy the fights, everybody. We'll see you at 7 p.m. Eastern.